Hi there. Hi there. My name is John Fry, and today for my research presentation, I am going to be focusing on food microbiology. So to start off, we first got to wonder what exactly is food microbiology? So, food microbiology can be many things. For starters, we can look at food microbiology as the study of microorganisms that inhabit, create, or even spoil food. Some other things that we can look at for microbiology in food is food safety, the fermentation of either food or drinks, and even food testing as well. So we'll start off with food safety. So with food safety, we have many uses of microbes, as stated earlier, and one of the most important of those being food safety. Many microbes are used to have the proper manufacturing of certain products, and these microbes are bacteria, molds, and yeasts, and they're employed for the production of food and food ingredients. So from this here, we can properly maintain these microbes so that they do not risk infection to any humans in the form of food that they are consuming through proper maintenance of them being either fermented in food, being helped to grow food, or being helped in really any way regarding to food. Next, we can go to the fermentation of food and drinks. So microbes have many uses when it comes to fermentation for either certain foods and possibly certain drinks. So here's just a little list of the fermentation microbes perform and the food that they help create or manufacture, you can say. So we start off with alcohol fermentation, and this helps with wine, beer, and even sourdough. And then the next thing that we have is lactic acid buildup. So lactic acid is mainly in dairy products, fermented meats, and possibly even fermented vegetables. And excuse me if I butcher this name, it's going to be propionic acid, and this is primarily in dairy products. So the next thing is food testing. So microbes in food testing really primarily only have one role to fulfill, and this being for food testing is to determine the amount of microorganism contamination levels during the manufacturing process and in final consumer products. So kind of to make that more understanding for us in simpler terms is it helps us understand how much of a certain microbe must be present for it to contaminate the product during the manufacturing process and even in the final consuming products for the consumer, i.e. us humans or animals even. So where did food microbiology begin? And well, let's say the fermenting of products and fermenting of all of these things. So we can look back at food microbiology to the BC era. So we have many instances of food microbiology being used to preserve food, ferment food, and we even have sites of food spoilage due to these microbes. So the earliest written history of food microbiology would be back in 7000 BC. It was stated that there was evidence that even the Babylonians were able to manufacture beer. And so they didn't know at that time that they were using microbes to manufacture beer. But today we are able to understand the science behind it and the science behind the microbes for us to be able to get there. And then in 6000 BC, we have the Egyptians manufacturing butter, cheese, and even yogurt. And then we even have the instance of food preservation. This was in 1795 when the French government kind of put out an idea of preserving or finding a way to make sure that food is preserved properly, and they offered a lot of money for that. So the French scientist, excuse me, Nicholas Appert, started the first food preservation by simply placing meat into glass bottles and boiling that meat. So where is food microbiology at today? So this is just some of the stuff that food microbiology is able to do. So we'll go down the list and go them into detail by detail. So we'll start off with food safety. So one of the big things in food safety, like I said earlier, is determining kind of the products that are in there and everything. So we have the pathogens that are being detected. So these are the pathogenic bacteria or microbes that are kind of in the bacteria and determining how they get there, or the contamination amount, again, like I said, how much there needs to be for it to be contaminated. And then we have the mycotoxins detection, the same thing with the pathogens, determining how much of these viruses or bacteria needs to be there for it to be contaminated. And then we have the food quality. So we have the authentication, which kind of makes it so we are determining how authentic the microbes and the products are with the wine, the fermented milk products, as you can see on the photo here. And then we also have the taste, the flavor, and the consistency with the food quality, making sure that it's it's flavorful, but not to the point where it's not as much and the consumer isn't going to really enjoy it. And then we had the food nutrition as well with the bioactivity ingredients, making sure that our amino acids are right, our fatty acids are right, our nucleotides are good, our vitamins, our polyols, all of these things. And then the interference in the gut microbiome to make sure that our gut is very healthy as well, and the food that we're putting in it is making the microbiota, excuse me, very healthy and well off. All right. Now, what does the future look like for food microbiology? Excuse me. So the future of food microbiology holds a lot of great ideas. So if we go to the article, Food Microbiology, the Past and the New Challenges for the Next 10 Years by Giovanni Susi and Aldo Corsetti, um, there are a lot of advances that we notice in the food microbiology department. Some of these being new biological and non-biological innovation technologies, new compounds and treatment strategies, and advances in DNA sequencing technologies have emerged for the control of foodborne pathogens. So basically what this means is with this advancement in food microbiology for these new compounds, treatment strategies, the DNA sequencing, it allows us to be able to detect early on the forms of foodborne pathogens or illnesses in certain products, and we're able to treat it in a certain manner before it affects the food for the consumer at the end of the day before they consume it. So here is my works cited, and I wanted to thank you very much for your time to listen to my presentation. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.